I'll do my best to make this a very basic, simply drawn bamboo plant Dala. I start with my circle and my swooping line. I have several shapes now to play with. I have this shape, this shape, this shape, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then I have two lines on the outside that I can use graphically to extend something out that way if I want to. Now I also can combine shapes. I can combine these two together, or these two together, or these three. I can play with them any way I want. My goal is to bend reality into these shapes and create motion through space by bending the reality of the object I'm looking at. That's the whole idea behind Dalas. At least for me it is. So I will take different portions of the plant and bend them around. And I really don't know what's going to happen until I start. I make one decision at a time. I take action on that decision, and then I look carefully and see how what I've just drawn in affects everything else. And then I make another decision. So to begin with, I look to see where a piece of the plant fits somewhat naturally in the Dala. I'm also keeping in mind what I may want to have overlap. I could have a leaf that's coming this way. There's a leaf that's just perfect for that. But I don't want to draw that in first. That means that this somewhat boring line across the entire circle would be in the foreground, and I'd love to have it more of a foundation shape in the background. That means that I want to have a leaf that's coming toward me, bending around here. So I'm going to start with the leaf that bends around here, and then I'll put in the leaf that goes behind that one. I start directly with ink, and it forces me to just keep moving and not determine, oh, should I erase that or not? I do not erase. This is Reeves BFK paper, which if I did erase on it, it would really ruin the surface for applying watercolor. And I've just gotten used to going directly in ink. It doesn't mean that I always draw directly in ink. Sometimes if it's an architectural piece, I may do a pencil sketch first, or if it's something really, really difficult with a plant, I may do a pencil sketch lightly first. But I like to just jump right in with pen. And it's really built my confidence in terms of drawing. This is a platinum carbon ink fountain pen, and the carbon ink dries very quickly and it hardly bleeds at all. Most of the time it doesn't bleed. Sometimes it will, depends on how wet the wash is that I apply. So I'm looking for a leaf that I can bend around this way. And there's one that goes up and bends this way, but I'm going to just keep bending it right around. And because I want it to come out to me, I'm going to start at the tip first and then move backwards. I'm going to go all the way up here. I mean, that's not the reality of it at all, but that's what I'm going to do. It's not about recreating reality. It's about creating shapes that work beautifully with one another. I added these lines as if the leaf is turning, and I did it not so much so that it makes sense, but so that I have some closed shapes where I can change the color. And I definitely want to be able to do that. Now I can put in my leaf that goes across the back. And I may connect that right up with this. Why not? I'm sure I'm closing off the shapes. And just because my swooping line is quite straight, it doesn't mean that I can't be wobbly with my leaf. I've picked another leaf. Now that I have two leaves overlapping this line, I'm going to continue the swooping line down. And you'll see how it appears to go behind, which creates the sense of space that I want. I'm going to give this a little bit of dimension too. And I see some kind of grassy parts that would help in this transition. And there's some little sprigs, some new growth. And I don't want this to just look like a tube or a hose. I'm just inventing these as I am going along now. It's something that is part of bamboo, and once I see the pattern, I can play with it any way that I want, as long as it's still somewhat bamboo-ish in shape. Okay, this I've been leaving so that I can do a border. Now I want to leave some open spaces too, and I said I'd try to keep this simple. Mama, Papa, baby shapes. This is one of those kind of sprouts or nodules where leaves are coming out in a slightly different way. Right, now I use this folder so that I don't smear the ink or get oils on the paper. I'll go back to this area after I've worked through this one. And I'm going to have to bend this around quite a bit more. It might be easier to do that if I have something coming up from here. Okay, I think I'm going to have to put a pretty big leaf there because this is so big. I need another large one. And this, I'm just making up a highlight for this thick part. I don't want this to be any more complicated than that, so I'm just going to leave those like that. This needs something. I'll write bamboo in there. Okay, there is my bamboo Dala.